Welcome back to the Sports Show with the SANFL. They are heating up into the finals, and there was a big shake-up on the weekend last weekend, no doubt about it. The master of the SANFL, Luke the Journo, the number one man around town's joined us. Hey Luke, were you surprised? South up against Port Adelaide, the Magpies getting the win?
We needed an upset to shake the finals race up, and we got it with Port upsetting South. Port missing a couple through injury, and South basically at full strength with Joel Cross back. And when South hit the front early in the last quarter, it looked like they were going to run away with it, but Port rallied back in the end through a couple of their lesser-known players in the end.
Well, you're 100% right, though. It has shaken it up.
My word, it's shaken it up.
Oh, you weren't surprised? You thought the Magpies would win?
No. I didn't, because I didn't think Port would win against South Adelaide. No way. But when you look at the tactical moves that Loken made, that's what won them the game. They did a lot of homework on the South Adelaide halfback flanker, Nick Haynes.
Joe Haynes.
Joe Haynes had a great year, great rebounding defender. They actually put a defensive forward on him for most of the game.
Okay.
And that defensive forward, it was Wiedemann, ended up kicking the three
goals to
win the game for them. So I didn't expect them to win, because Ports haven't got, they've got their, as Andrew Capel said in his article, 11 AFL listed players. For God's sake. South Adelaide had their two best players were Broadbent and Gibbs. Where'd they come from? The moon. I mean, give me a break on the 11. They're babies.
It's a testament to the depth that they've got. Guys like, Tom Cleary was a really important player in their preliminary final side last year. Sam Powell-Pepper as well. So those two. But the kids they've got coming through, Joel Garner would have played in every other AFL team, I think, just about this season. And Jackson Mead as well, who's a kid that missed a lot of footy this year, but's really starting to develop as a midfielder, and another one of these young kids for Port to watch coming forward next season.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the weekend games. We won't worry about, no disrespect to Glenelg West, but that's not going to impact on the shake-up of the final five. The next two games are.
They are big.
They are massive, mate. Sturt up against the Eagles at Unley is just going to be a belter on Saturday. What are you thinking?
Well, with a bit of rain forecast, I think the Sturt faithful might be doing a bit more rain dance. They've really thrived in these wet conditions all year. They've seemed to have won low-scoring games with big tackle numbers, and they'll be hoping that they can try and slow the Eagles down. The Eagles' small forwards are really dangerous, and they kicked 9 goals against the Crows, the Menzel brothers and Tyson Stengel. So they'll be looking to try and slow those guys down. It's a big test for Sturt, but the Eagles probably don't have a lot to play for, where the Sturt will be pretty desperate coming in that game.
So, when I saw that game, it was coming up, I just initially thought Eagles. No, Eagles will beat them, no problem at all. Because I think Sturt are an up-and-coming side, but I just don't know whether they got the power to knock off the Eagles. And for that very reason that you said, Luke, their forward line, their forward setup is extremely dangerous. They did very well recruiting the Menzel boys, and of course Stengel we know is a good player. And for that reason, I don't think they can beat the Eagles.
And that's why I think they probably need a little bit of weather just to slow the Eagles down a little bit. But if their midfield can match it, James Battersby and those inside mids that they've got, Tom Lewis and these guys that can win enough ball and they can sort of hold the ball in their territory, it could pose some problems for the Eagles. The other carrot is the Eagles don't have a lot to play for. They've got a double chance pretty much sewed up. Yeah. So they might be a little bit careful. They might rest blokes this week and play them next week ahead of the finals, and you don't really know what can happen. There's a bit of mystery, and that's it. And these Sturt guys have got nothing to lose, and they've won 6 out of 7, and they're riding a wave at the moment.
Very dangerous to start resting players, isn't it? I can't remember Port ever doing that. They would go into the game wanting to belt the living daylights out of Sturt if it was Port and Sturt. So I don't know whether the Eagles would do that. I think they will go in wanting to win it and win it well, so they can take into some real good form.
They do have some guys that have had histories with injuries, though. Guys like Jimmy Tumpus and the Menzel brothers that have little niggles over the past, and you want to try and make sure that they're cherry ripe. And if you're going to rest them for 1 week, it might be the week before the game, and then get them ready to go rolling into that first final.
Yeah, we had Jade in last week. I think if there was a chance, I agree with what you're saying. I think you'd rest guys if they needed it. If they could push on, then you go with the push on. The other one that's really important is Norwood. That as a prospect, the North have been humming the last couple of months. They're making a bit of noise, and maybe the only team that can stop the Bays.
Well, North, it's a big game for North. Obviously, they've won probably 8 of their last 9, I think, now, going back to the mid-season break just before the state game, and they're really playing some of the best footy in the competition. They've finally got their full kit to pick from at the moment, and they're playing some really dangerous footy at the moment. They need a win on Saturday to secure a double chance, and Norwood need a win to secure their finals place, so there'll be plenty to play for on Saturday afternoon.
All right, mate, when we talk about the shake-up, and there's still a round to go after this split round, if you're looking at it right now, if North defeat Norwood and Sturt get over the Eagles, Norwood miss out.
Possibly. I mean, Sturt do play North Adelaide in the last round, so they do have a tougher draw going in. And South Adelaide, with the loss on the weekend, left themselves a little bit at peril. They're out of their own.
You're surprised by that, Luke? I mean, they had such a terrific start to the year.
They seem to have done that a little bit the last couple of years. They've really jumped out of the blocks, played some good footy early, and they've slowed up in the back half of the year. Whether it's their older bodies like Joel Cross and Gibbs and Broadbent starting to slow down a little bit, or they are blooding some kids. I mean, they played Matty Roberts last week, who didn't play. Arlo Draper's another kid that is a potential top 10 draft pick, but might not quite be at the level of some of these other guys. And whether they're playing these kids and trying to get the balance right, and they haven't got it right, but they've just struggled to find avenues to goal consistently. They've tried, Sam Skinner played forward, he's gone back. Sam Overall's really struggled. Ben Hurren's been in and out of the side as well. So they just haven't really found that key position forward that's been able to take a few marks for them up there as well.
I'm surprised with Overall because he's a good player. And he is a good marking forward. He's a terrific marking forward. But he has been a little bit
They haven't had the guys to get the ball to ground. Their small forwards are so dangerous. Hayden Sampson, Eamon Wilkinson, Liam Fitt, Jake Tarker. When they get the ball to ground, they're really potent, but they just really struggled in the air up forward to be able to get the ball to ground and give those guys an opportunity.
But South Adelaide play West Adelaide last?
South Adelaide play West
really
at Noarlunga.
spot.
So they should get in. And realistically, with Sturt needing to win both games against two top three sides, and Norwood winning, needing to beat North or the Crows next week, which is a bit of a wild card game as well. But you would think that Norwood would get in, and probably that Sturt will be the one that miss out. But they do have their destiny in their own hands.
Yeah, I think Norwood are going to be okay. I think they're okay. If we look at the group that we think is going to be in, which is the Norwood, the North, the South, Glenelg, Eagles.
Yep.
Sorry, mate. Maggies don't make it. I know you'd like them to. It'd be hard to not see Glenelg in the grand final, just the way their season's played out. Who is the team most likely to meet them and be able to beat them?
That first final in the first week, which is shaping up as North Adelaide versus Woodville West Orange, is going to be a ripping game of footy. That with the premiers from 2018, the premiers from 2020 playing against each other, I think you'll get a really good idea of who can be the big challenger to Glenelg. I still think North Adelaide, with their midfield experience and their potency up forward, can really cause some headaches. But it's the same for the Eagles as well. But both teams are going to put up big scores with the talent they've got in their forward lines.
Yep.
So I think realistically that those two are the teams that are going to be the most likely to challenge Glenelg, and I think both on their day have the capability to beat them.
But if you were sitting at home this weekend and you want to go and see a game of footy, you couldn't decide which game to go to. Would you go to the Sturt Eagles or the North Norwood? Which game would you sit at?
Personally, I think North and Norwood's probably the game of the weekend. I think North Adelaide and Norwood both have a lot to play for as well, and I think that those two sides have got a lot of quality. And Norwood, it's easy to gloss over their team, but they've got guys like Richard Douglas and Cameron Shenton and Paul Puopolo that are really experienced, and then North Adelaide as well. They're really talented, and they're playing some of the best footy in the competition at the moment.
Would they still have in the back of their mind that thumping they got at Norwood?
A 100-point loss.
Would they still?
Earlier in the season?
It's early in the year, and they're probably missing a few or whatever. But still a big loss, isn't it? At home.
It is, and I think it's the quality of North Adelaide as well that people forget, is that they play really good footy against really good sides, and I'm sure Norwood will be smarting a little bit over that, but a lot's changed in 15 weeks. Players have gone out for the pre-season draft and injuries and things like that as well. So I think North Adelaide are probably a better side than what they were in round 3, but I think Norwood probably are as well. They're a bit more settled under Jade Rawlings, and they've had a bit more experience under him now, and they're getting used to the way he likes to play footy.
Yeah, I reckon Norwood might surprise. I think you've touched on the players they've got. They're good senior players, come around finals, footy time or big games. They're the guys that can, and have proven they can go up another level. Not that North haven't got them, but I think Norwood have got a few more.
They're probably a bit like South in that respect, is they've got a lot of experience, and they could be dangerous when, on their day with the experience that they've got, they can be dangerous. Is whether they can do it for 4 weeks and do it consistently is probably going to be more of a question for those two teams.
And if it does come down to percentage in the end, you're looking at 3 sides with pretty much exactly the same percentage. You look at Norwood, South and Sturt. They've all pretty much got the same percentage.
Yeah, that's it. And
wow, this could be an exciting finish.
With South playing West next week, there could be an opportunity for them to tick the scoreboard up if they start playing their best footy as well. So, I think that, it's going to take something special for Sturt to get in, but who knows with the run they've been on since halfway.
Luke, we always appreciate your insight, mate. It is top shelf stuff. Stay with us. Plenty still to come on the show.